Hello and welcome back to our enchanted library of tales. Today we journey into a deep forest, to a tall, lonely tower, to uncover the story of a princess with hair as radiant as the sun itself. This is the tale of Rapunzel. Once upon a time, nestled next to a beautiful but forbidden garden, lived a man and a woman who wished for nothing more than to have a child. This magnificent garden belonged to a powerful and wicked witch, and it was filled with the most tempting fruits and vegetables. One day, the wife, who was expecting a child, looked out her window and saw a bed of the most delicious-looking rampion. A craving so powerful took hold of her that she felt she would waste away without it. She pleaded with her husband, her eyes full of longing. Seeing her distress, the loving husband knew he had to act. That night, under the cover of darkness, he bravely climbed over the high garden wall and snatched a handful of the fresh greens for his wife. She devoured the rampion immediately, and it tasted so wonderful that her craving only grew stronger. She had to have more. So the next night, her husband went back. But this time, as he gathered the leaves, a chilling shadow fell over him. "The witch, how dare you sneak into my garden and steal my rampion like a common thief?" she shrieked, her eyes blazing with fury. The man, trembling with fear, fell to his knees and begged for his life. He explained his wife's desperate craving, telling the witch that she was carrying their long-awaited child. The witch's expression softened, but her eyes remained as hard as stone. "Very well," she said with a cunning smile. "I will let you take all the rampion you desire, but on one condition. When the child is born, you must give her to me. I will care for her as my own." The man was so terrified that he agreed to the dreadful bargain. And so, when a beautiful baby girl was born, the witch appeared as promised. She swept the child into her arms, naming her Rapunzel after the very plant her mother had craved. The heartbroken parents could do nothing but watch as their daughter was taken away. Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful child under the sun, with magnificent long hair that shimmered like spun gold. The witch cherished her beauty, but she was possessive and cruel. On Rapunzel's 12th birthday, to keep her hidden from the world, the witch locked her away in a tall, secluded tower deep within a dense forest. This tower was a strange and lonely prison. It had no doors and no stairs, only a single small window at the very top. When the witch wanted to visit, she would stand at the base of the tower and call out in her shrill voice, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so that I may climb the golden stair." Upon hearing the call, Rapunzel would unpin her glorious braids, which had grown incredibly long and strong over the years. She would wrap them around a hook by the window and let them cascade down the stone wall like a shimmering golden rope. The witch would then grab hold of the hair and climb up to the chamber. For years, this was Rapunzel's life. Her only companion was the witch, and her only view of the world was from her small window. To pass the lonely hours, she would sing. Her voice was as magical as her hair pure, sweet and filled with a sorrowful beauty that echoed through the trees. One day, a prince was riding through the forest when he heard a melody so enchanting that he was compelled to find its source. He followed the sound to the mysterious tower, but could find no way in. He was captivated. Day after day, he returned to the forest, hiding himself among the trees, just to listen to Rapunzel's hauntingly beautiful songs. One evening, as he was listening, he saw the old witch approach the tower. He watched in astonishment as she called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," and then climbed up the shimmering cascade of gold. The prince finally understood the secret of the tower. He waited until the witch had left. Then, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement, he went to the base of the tower and, mimicking the witch's call, he cried out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Immediately, the golden braids tumbled down. The prince grabbed hold and climbed up. When he entered the chamber, Rapunzel was terrified. She had never seen another person besides the witch. But the prince spoke to her with a gentle, kind voice. He told her how her singing had touched his heart and how he had been drawn to her beauty. His sincerity and warmth calmed her fears, and as they talked, a new feeling blossomed in Rapunzel's heart: love. The prince visited her every evening after the witch had gone, and their love grew with each secret meeting. Rapunzel agreed to leave the tower with him and become his wife. Together, they devised a plan. The prince would bring a skein of silk with him each time he visited, and Rapunzel would weave it into a ladder, bit by bit. When it was long enough, they would escape together. Their plan was proceeding perfectly, but one day Rapunzel innocently gave away their secret. As the witch was climbing up, Rapunzel said without thinking, "You are so much heavier to pull up than the young prince. He is with me in a moment." The witch flew into a terrifying rage. "You deceitful child. I thought I had hidden you from the world, but you have betrayed me." In her fury, she grabbed a pair of scissors. Snip, snip. In a flash, the magnificent golden braids fell to the floor. Her cruel revenge was not over. She used her magic to banish the weeping Rapunzel to a desolate, barren wasteland, leaving her to fend for herself, alone and heartbroken. That same evening, the prince arrived and called out his usual song. The witch, full of spite, let down the severed braids of hair. The prince climbed up, full of hope, expecting to see his beloved. Instead, he was met by the glaring, hateful eyes of the witch. "You came for your songbird, but the cat has got her, and she will sing no more." The witch cackled. "You will never see her again." In despair, the prince leaped or fell from the tower. He survived, but he landed in a patch of thorns below, which blinded him. Lost, blind, and utterly heartbroken, the prince wandered the land for years. He ate nothing but roots and berries, and spent his days mourning the loss of his love, Rapunzel. He called her name into the wind, but only silence answered it. Then, one day, as he stumbled through a desolate wilderness, he heard a familiar, sweet voice singing a sad song. He followed the sound, his heart aching with a fragile hope. It was her. It was Rapunzel. He called out her name. Rapunzel, who had been living in misery with the twin children she had borne, heard his voice and ran to him. They embraced, weeping with both sorrow and joy. As her tears of happiness fell onto his face and touched his eyes, a miracle occurred. His sight was restored. He could see his beloved Rapunzel once more. Overjoyed, the prince led Rapunzel and their children back to his kingdom. They were welcomed with great celebration, and the entire kingdom rejoiced at the return of their long-lost prince and his beautiful family. And they're finally free from the tower and the witch. They lived happily ever after. What a journey of love, loss, and reunion. Rapunzel's story reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope can be a light that guides us, and true love can overcome the greatest of obstacles. Thank you so much for joining me for this timeless fairy tale. If you enjoyed our story, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more magical adventures. We love sharing these stories with you. Until next time, may your days be filled with wonder.